Welcome to the IPF World Classic and Equipped Masters Powerlifting Championships live from St. John's, Newfoundland in Canada. We are on day 3 and I think this is the 3rd session today, it certainly feels like it. And we are about to get going with the remainder of the M2 We have
round of applause please.
We have the 105 kilo class in the first flight. And then we are going to have the 120 and 120 plus. And the second flight. This is Kaivasenius for 170 from Finland. Yeah, depth for sure. That looked really good.
3 out live to the good lift, the kite. 195 on the bar now. Henrik Smedmark, Sweden.
And that was a good lift. Next out we have Henrik Smedmark from Sweden with 195. That was a good lift.
Good lift for Smedmark, 195 on the bar. Eric Demoulin, France.
And we have Eric Demoulin from France out next.
Followed it, 195 kilos, Demoulin, France.
Here we go with 195 for Eric Demoulin from France. All these lifters are M2s, 50 to 59 years old, and they are all in the 105 kilo class in this flight. All lifting raw. Raw lifting includes sleeves, belts, wrist wraps, but no bench shirt, squat suits or knee wraps. So next out we have Takeshi Yoshimatsu, Japan, for 200 kilos. He's going to open his squat with 200. Nice step. A little bit tough for an opener though. Next out we have Garmin Parks. He lifted in the Open out in Sun City. Spent the entire time coaching before he lifted. I hope he's not done the same thing this week. He's going to open his account with 215. £474. Lifting with naked knees, rather him than me. And that's a good lift for Garmes, he's on the board. Next out we have Nico Uriosti from Uruguay for 217 and a half. Now that's a tough opener. And it was not deep enough either. So he just needs to sink that a little bit deeper. Hopefully he'll get that on his next attempt. And next we have Abdul Seduvi from Sweden for 220. That was a nice looking opener. Christo Schoonrad from South Africa next for 230. He was just a little bit shaky at the bottom, but he handled that weight really well. Just popped straight up to the top. Frode from Norway for 240. He is the lifter that was nominated in first place. We haven't seen him on the international scene for a while. So let's see what he can do here today. Good opener, he's on the board. So this is quite a small group. We're already through to the second round of squats with Kai Vesenius, Finland, for 175. Deep as anything, that's a really strong looking squat. Next out, Eric Demoulin, France, for 207.5. He's taken quite a big jump up to his second, 12.5 kilos. Wouldn't like to call depth from the front angle.
Good lift, 3 white lights.
The referees are in a good place though, and they gave him 3 white lights.
Yoshimatsu and Urios, they get ready.
And now we have Henrik Smedmark of Sweden for 210. He sank quite a long way into his right hip, so let's hope that didn't mean he was high on his left side. 2-1, a good lift. And we have Takeshi Yoshimatsu next for 215. It's a tough one, but I think he's got it. So here, next out is Nico Uriosti. He missed his opener on depth. He's taking the same weight again. He sink it a bit further.
Come on, Nico.
Oh, it's a grinder. Now he's at the top. Did he sink it low enough?
2-1, still no lift, I'm afraid. Next side referees.
No, he's in a little bit of trouble now because the squat is looking hard and he hasn't taken it to depth yet. But he gets one more attempt at that, and we have Garmez Parks out next for 227 and a half. 502 pounds. Oh, that's a tough one. He didn't let the weight boss him around though. He didn't get out of shape. He just kept pushing, and that's the way to get a successful lift. He was called for depth on one side, but 2-1 is good enough. And he moves into bronze medal position on squat. However, Abdul Saduvi is about to try to come past with 230. Nice steady lift.
247.5 kilos on the bar. Crystal Sugar, South Africa. Louis and Nathaniel May.
Next out, Christo Schoonrad, South Africa. 247.5 on the bar. You see Jeff Butt at the back there. He's the meet director. He also competed this morning. Took the world title at his own competition and on home turf as well. You can't ask for more than that. Well, here's Christo Schoonrad for 247.5. Oh, it's a tough one. He's not got it. And we have the last squat in the second round, which is Frode Rui from Norway for 247.5. He's leading the 105s in squat. Nice and deep, nice and strong. And we are through already to the third round of squats. So here's Kai Vasenius. He's been moving the weight very easily. This is another 5 kilos. 180. Easy. Kai Vasenius, 3 for 3. Henrik Smedmark, Sweden, 215. No, not quite there today. We've got some pretty strong loaders, but even they can't pick up 215 when the lift goes out from under it. So that gives him a best squat of 210. And we have Eric Desmoulins from France for 215. This will move him ahead of Smedmark. In squat. And that looks like a well-judged third attempt. He got 1 red for depth, but he's delighted with that result. Now we have Nico Uriosti. He's in real trouble here because the weight is looking difficult for him and he is just a bit shy of depth. So the crowd's behind him. Everybody wants to see him make this squat. Difficult because this is his third squat. He's moved this weight 3 times already. He's got a huge amount of support in the crowd. Nobody wants to see him miss. Depth is good. Can he get it up? I think he's got it. Let's see what the referees think. 3 white lights. And Nico Uriosti is on the board for the 3rd time of asking. So we have all our lifters have a squat in, which is fantastic. Nico went straight to 5th place with that squat. We are right up in a corner of the globe today, and we are seeing lifters not quite putting in their best performances, not taking into account the effect of the huge journey they've had. And that maybe was the case there for Nico. But here's Takeshi Yoshimatsu with 225. Always fighting it. That was a tough one, and it's a good lift. He's happy with that. So next out is Garmis Parks. He's looking for 230 kilos, that's 507 pounds, for his 3rd and final squat. The clock is ticking, and it doesn't look like he's coming out. It's quite a small group, so if a lifter decides they're not going to take their 3rd attempt, it's considered to be polite and good sportsmanship to put an attempt in, let the clock run down so that the rest of the lifters have still have enough time to recover. It's more important in equipped. You don't suddenly want to find that you're the next lifter out and you've only got 1 knee wrapped, but it is still considered quite polite, especially among the heavier weight classes and the smaller groups, to do this. Just gives us a moment to thank our sponsors, Eleiko, who made all the platform equipment you can see there today, the absolute best powerlifting bar in the world, the combo rack, platform, plates and weight tree, and also SBD. As you can see, the spotting crew are resplendent in their SBD t-shirts. They make the best strength apparel relied upon by strength athletes around the world. So we've been given a brilliant welcome here in Newfoundland by the Canadian Powerlifting Union in this, the 50th anniversary year of the IPF. So as Garmes Parks times out with no lift, leaves him with the best lift of 227.5, 501 pounds. He was 4th place going into the rest of the competition. So here's Abdul Sedouvi for 237.5. It's careful and controlled, and that's the way to do it. He took a yellow card from the side referee. Yellow card failures can be for a number of things, so I'm not entirely sure what that infraction was for. Nevertheless, 2-1 is good enough, and he is sitting in silver medal position just now, waiting to see if... Oh no, excuse me, Abdul was lighter lifter, so he's guaranteed the silver, and Schoonrad has the bronze. However, Schoonrad is looking to get the 247.5 that he missed last time. He's coached by Demeri, who's lifting later in the week. And this is for the squat gold. Now, I can't tell depth from that angle, but I feel like it might have been shallow. Yeah. That's a shame, because he moved the weight really well, so you'll have to be happy with the squat bronze going in. and Slaughter Rui took the gold. We are through now to the second flight of squats. And this is the 120 and 120 plus men. Here is Keith Carlasio to lead us out with 157.5. Just a reminder, these are all M2s, so 50 to 59 years old. And Keith is in the 120 kilo class. 265 pounds. Nice and deep, nice and springy. That was a great squat. 347 pounds. Jens Winter is out next from Denmark. He's looking for 170. Strong. Weight gave him no issues at all. And we have Stephen Campbell next for 182.5. Steve Campbell, 182.5, 403 pounds. He's in the super heavyweight category, 120 plus. Nice opening squat. Next out, Kai Matila. In the 120, so we have two weight classes on the platform right now, 120, 120 plus. Kai's in the 120s. Opening with 200 kilos. Nice and deep. Well to his first attempt. Next lifter out is Ronnie Anderson, Norway. He's asked for 205 kilos to open his squat. Fast. Next out we have Wim Vamsteker, Netherlands, for 215. Nice opener for Vim.
Two white lights and a good lift. 2:30 on the bar now for Mark Nutshell of Luxembourg. Fuller and Nano, get ready. Ball's loaded. 230 kilos, Mark Nutshell of Luxembourg.
Mark Notzkala, Luxembourg for 230.
Good lift. 3 white lights to Nutshell.
Nice opener there for Mark. Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico for 235.
Round 1. Ball loaded. 235 kilos. Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico.
£518. Nice opener for Robert. Next out is Tim Nadeau from Canada for 237.5. £524. Smooth. Popped that right to the lockout. He got one red light for depth from one of the side referees. Quite often a lifter will sit deeper on one side. They'll sink into one hip more than the other. People don't tend to be completely symmetrical. And the last lifter out in the super heavyweight is Jaroslav Shokal from Czechia. He's opening with 265 kilos. Nominated well in the lead in the super heavyweights. He's been Masters World Champion many times. Classic and equipped. And look how fast he moved that bar. So that puts him firmly in the lead in the super heavyweights, and now we have Scott Robertson for 285 in the 120 kilo class. £628.
Following 285 kilos, Scott Robertson, Canada.
That was a super efficient squat for Scott Robertson. Rewarded with 3 white lights and the lead by a long way in the 120s. Into the second round now, and Carl Calacio is looking for 167.5. £370 thereabouts. Oh, that looked like it was going really easily. But suddenly, I'll be interested to watch that that replay back, see exactly what happened. Maybe we're not going to get one though. It looked like it was coming up a tree, but just then ran out of steam, ran out of up. So maybe that was just a small technical error, and he will get another opportunity at that. Jens Winter now for 190, having opened at 170, so this is quite a decent jump. Easy. So here's Stephen Campbell of Canada to try to add another 10 kilos to his squat. This is 192.5, 424 pounds. Very smooth. Got a little bit more left in the tank there, I think. Here's Kai Mattila from Finland for 210. That's a good lift for Kai. Now here's Ronnie Anderson. He's gone up 15 to 220. Slow and controlled, then just dips it down at the bottom. Wim Vamsteker, Netherlands now for 222.5. Another lifter that we see more in the equipped competitions than the classic. Been lifting for many years. Good lift there for him. Sneaker collector. Out next we have Mark Notskala, Luxembourg, for 240. Already, with only his first lift in, he's guaranteed the silver medal in squat. He's unlikely to be able to push up to gold. Because Robertson of Canada is a long way up the road with 285. That's a nice lift from Notskala. Robert Fuller in the supers from Puerto Rico is coming out now for 247.5, 546 pounds. Grind through it, and that moves him up to second place on squats. But here's Tim Nadeau looking to respond with 250. $250 kilos on the bar, 551 pounds. Trying to do a bit of translation for the Canadian and Americans, who many of whom don't speak kilos. Great second attempt there for Tim Nadeau. Jaroslav Šokal now from Czechia for 290 kilos. Now I'm just looking up to see what the world record is in this class, and it's 305. So he took a massive jump from 265, which he moved like the empty bar. So let's see how this 290 goes, and we might see him attempt a world record on his third. Oh, a little bit of work to do to get that through the sticking point. You know, he's a long way ahead. He's on the board. I would take a run. I would have a go. I'd quite like to see 305.5 go on there for his third. Just seeing that Wim Vamsteker isn't going to take a third attempt. He's scratched. We have a little bit of an oddity here. The world record in the 120 kilo class is 378.5, but in the super heavyweight it's 305. You don't usually see the higher weight class have such a lower world record. So Scott Robinson is about to take 305 for his second attempt. And there it goes, Shokal, 305.5 has gone in for his third. Fantastic. But we have Scott Robertson on the platform right now. Now he has moved that 305 very, very easily. And he did get one red for depth, which is why I hesitated. I wasn't absolutely sure. But that's a 2-1, a good lift for Scott Robertson. 305 kilos, 672 pounds. Third round now. And Keith Carlasio is going to attempt the 167.5 that he missed on his second. 370 pounds, thereabouts. Yes, there we go. That looked like a nice squat. Stephen Campbell now for 200. Took 182.5 for his opener. Went up to 192.5. This is 200. 441 pounds. Easy. That looked very comfortable. Jens Winter out next from Denmark for 202.5. Now that was very controlled, and the weight came up very easily. And it's a good lift. Again, I was hesitating because I wasn't sure of depth, but 2-1, it is a good lift. Kai Mattila next from Finland, 215. He is guaranteed the squat bronze now. No, not quite there today. Leaves him with the best of 210, but he does still walk away with the squat bronze. Next out we have Ronnie Anderson, Norway, for 225 to move up a place. Look, just the same as his second. And puts him in 4th place going into bench. Mark Notskala from Luxembourg for 250. Already has the squat silver. And it's a tough one, but he took it all the way. And that's 250 kilos for Mark Notskala and a silver medal on squat. Tim Nadeau next for 257.5. He's in the super heavyweights and currently in silver medal position, but he is under some pressure from Robert Fuller. So let's see how this goes. And I think it's gone quite well. It was clearly heavy, it moved quite slowly, but he didn't deviate his position at all, just kept driving upwards, and he looks pretty happy with that. Next out is Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico. He's going to try and go past Tim Nadeau for the squat silver. He made 247.5 for his second, and now he's looking for 260 kilos, 573 pounds. Guaranteed the bronze, he would like to swap it for the silver. No, not quite there. Spotters keep him safe, get him back into the rack, and he keeps the squat bronze, and Tim Nadeau keeps the squat silver. So, Yaroslav Shokal, Czechia, is going to attempt 305.5 to take what is quite a long-standing record from Bowmore, which was 2018 in Calgary. Now, his second of 290, it was fast out of the hole, but there was a slow bit. It was a little bit of difficulty through the sticking point. He's a big guy. I know the spotting team is going to be hoping that he stands it up himself and they don't have to get him all the way back up into the tall rack. Here we go, world record on the bar, and that was easier than his second. Wow, what's he been doing all this time? Not taking that world record before now. 305.5, new world record in the M2 super heavyweight class for Yaroslav Shokal. One more squat remains of the day, and that is Scott Robertson. 320 kilos. This is, like I said before, this is one of these odd situations where the 120 record is way higher than the 120 plus. So, Scott Robertson 320 kilos.
On limit, 320 kilos, Scott Robinson.
705 pounds. I can say, oh, he is here. I was about to say, it doesn't look like he's coming out, but here he is.
What have you got, Scott?
He has the squat gold in his back pocket, and this gives him a considerable advantage going into the rest of the competition. Nice. Put some weight on it. Maybe try next time. Didn't even have the decency to make it look difficult. Some fantastic squatting there from the big guys. We will have some big benching coming up in 10 minutes. Join us then. Welcome back to the IPF World Classic and Equip Masters Powerlifting Championships, live from St. John's, Newfoundland in Canada. We have the M2 Classic Men, the final classes in the M2 Classic Men, and we are through to bench press. This is the first flight with the 105s, so everyone that's in this flight is 105 kilo M2, 50 to 59 years old, and Christo Schoonrad is leading us out with 115. Nice easy opening attempt. This is Kai Vesenius for 120. That was a nice easy opening for Kai Vesenius. Here's Henrik Smedmark, Sweden, for 135. Not super easy, but certainly not in any doubt. Abdul Seyduvi, Sweden, for 135. Little bit of work to get that to the top. And Abdul is on the board. Eric Demoulin, France, for 140. Nice opener for Eric. And next out we have Nico Uriosti, Uruguay. He gave us a bit of a fright on squat. Missed his opener in his second, but he nailed it on his third. Hopefully he is not going to give us such a fright on his bench. And he's on the board on his bench. So here's Takeshi Yoshimatsu for 150 kilos. Lots of lifters are taking the same opening weight in this class. taking his time. He's got 60 seconds to get the start command. Nice, very smooth opener. Frode Rui, Norway for 150 now. Slow through the sticking point, but drove it all the way home. That was Gomez Parks for... I looked away for a second. I didn't actually see what happened there. Maybe he jumped the command. So I'm sorry, that happened so quickly. I just looked away and I didn't really catch what happened there. So Gomez Parks did not get his opening attempt. So he will have to come back and try for that again for a second. So this is the second round now in the 105s, and this is Christo Skoonrad. Opened with 115, gone up to 122.5. I think it's a testament to the speed of these loading crew that we are getting through this so quickly. Ooh, that's just gone a little bit offline. And not quite there. I wonder if he just gets that absolutely perfectly next time. That will go. Another nice easy attempt there for Kai Vesenius, 125. Abdul Sadivi, 140. Oh, he fought that to an absolute standstill, and it wouldn't go any further. We have Heinrich Smedmark coming out next for 142.5. Current best is 152.5. Yeah, looks like he's got a little bit left in the tank there.
Really like lights and a good lift. To say movie. 147.5. On the bar, and again one out on France. Really a party ready bar is loaded.
Eric Demoulin now from France with 147.5. And it's slow. That looks to be on the edge of strength. But it's a good lift, and he's 5 for 5 right now. Next out is the man who is in the overall lead, and this will also put him in the lead in the bench press medals. Frode Rui from Norway for 155. And that is not going. So next out is Gomez Parks. He missed his opener, he's gone up 5. This will put him straight into the lead for now. Do apologise to Gomez. I will keep a closer eye on your lift this time. £347. No, not super easy, but that looked like it was never in any doubt. And Gomez Parks takes the lead in the bench press competition. However, we have Nico Uriosti from Uruguay for the same weight, but Nico is a very light 105. He weighed in today at 98.46, so he will move ahead of Gomez if he is successful with this lift. He's currently in silver medal position in bench anyway. Takeshi Yoshimatsu is next out for 160, and this will take him from bench bronze to bench gold with another round still to go. Making most use of his platform time. Just needs to be a little bit careful that you don't use it all up, and if you're asked to replace the bar, there's no time left. But that's a great bench for Takeshi Yoshimatsu, and he takes the lead in bench. He also moves up to second place overall. So as we go into the third round, we can just take a quick look at where we're up to. So Yoshimatsu is leading from Uriosti from Parks in bench. And in the overall competition, we have Rui from Yoshimatsu from Parks, with Nico Uriosti just behind. Going to be a tight battle in this class, I think. There's it's about 20 kilo spread over the top 5 lifters. this could go anybody's way. But we have Christo Schoonarad from South Africa. Missed this last time, but I think he went offline, so... No, it's not quite. You know, 120 might have gone. Easy to say with hindsight. Leaves him with the best of 115. Kivasenius now for 130. That's a good lift for Kivasenius. He is 6 for 6 right now. Abdul Seduvi, Sweden, retaking 140. And it's still not going. Gets it to the sticking point and just can't quite drive it through. He can't believe it, but it does happen, especially with all the travelling. He's come all the way from Europe, and although as the crow flies, it's not so far to Newfoundland, from Europe you have to fly a long way past and then come back on yourself because it is not an international airport. So we are finding that some of the Europeans that have arrived late or arrived quite recently are struggling a little bit. However, fellow Swede teammate Henrik Smedmark is here and he's looking for 147. No, that's not quite there. Leaves him with the best bench of 142.5. Next out is Eric Desmoulins, France, for 150. Taking quite a small jump up to his third. That's not... Oh, he's still driving it up. Wow. No. I thought he was going to do some miraculous press through that, but it was just a little bit too heavy. Leaves him with the best bench of 147.5. Now we have the last 4 benches in this flight, and this is the battle for the bench podium. Frode Rui is out first for 155. He missed this last time. I think he was a little bit offline there. He seemed to push that forwards rather than back. So that's no lift for Rui. Best bench of 150. He is still in the overall lead. But coming under some pressure now. Nico Uriosti, he struggled a little on squat. He's doing much better on bench. This will take him into gold medal position with 2 lifters still to bench. just a little bit too much. But you know, he got everything he could today. He got 157.5, missed 160. So next out is Garmes Parks. Missed his opener, went up anyway, and he's gone up another 5 now. He is guaranteed the bronze in bench, and this is an attempt to swap that out for a gold medal. He has hit a wall with that bench press, unfortunately. So he will have to be happy with the bronze for 157.5. Last bench in the 105s is Takeshi Yoshimatsu.
Following 165 kilos, Yoshimatsu, Japan.
He has the gold. Just looking to add another 5 kilos to his total, because he is tied with Garmes Parks right now at subtotal. And that is a good lift for Yoshimatsu. Gives him the gold medal in bench and second place overall going into deadlift. So straight into the second flight now, and this is the 120s and 120 plus. So here's Stephen Campbell in the super heavyweights for 85 kilos. That's a good lift for him. Looks like he's dealing with some kind of shoulder issue. I wonder if he's just going to put that token bench in and scratch the rest of his attempts. But we have Keith Carlasio from USA for 102 coming up next. 226 pounds. Easy stuff there for Keith. I just noticed he gave his occupation as legend. Oh, excuse me, it's Wim Vamsteker who's given his occupation as legend. That sounds about right. He's coming out now to open his bench with 120 kilos. For the legend that is Wim Vamsteker from the Netherlands. So here's Kai Mattila, Finland, for 125. Comfortable looking opener there for Kai. Here's Tim Nadeau now from Canada for 132.5. Easy. Great stuff there for Tim. We have Jens Winter from Denmark now for 140. He's in the 120s. So this is the 120 kilo class and the 120 plus class lifting together in one flight. Jens is in the 120s. That looks decent to me. That's Jens Winter on the board with 140. Mark Notskala, Luxembourg for 155. He took the silver medal in squat. And that was an easy looking opening bench. Robert Fuller is out next for 157.5. 347 pounds. Robert is from Puerto Rico. He's on the board for his opening bench. And we have Ronnie Anderson out next. Ronnie's in the super heavyweights and he's going to open his bench with 160. Slow and controlled. Fast up. Good lift there for Ronnie Anderson. Keeps his chest nice and high. Rewarded with an easy press. Next out we have Yaroslav Shokal, fresh from taking the world record in the squat with 305.5. This will put him in the lead in bench press as well. And as long as he keeps getting his lifts in and doesn't miss, doesn't bomb, I think he's in a good place to take the win today. Early days though, so let's see how this goes. And it goes very easily. That puts Shokal in the lead overall and in bench. Last opening bench in this flight is Scott Robertson. Now he impressed on the squat with 320. Full 70 kilos ahead of any of his rivals. And he's doing pretty much the same thing on his bench. He's 40 kilos ahead of anyone else with this 197.5 kilo opening attempt. £435. Moving like an empty bar. He's really laid a marker down now. He is a long way ahead. He's over 100 kilos ahead at subtotal. Unlikely, unless he has a major disaster on deadlift, unlikely that anyone is going to be able to catch him. Stephen Campbell now, from Canada, home nation lifter. 97.5 kilos on the bar, 215 pounds. Another good lift there for Steve. And next we have 112.5 for Keith Carlasio, USA. 248 pounds. That looked like a well-judged second attempt for Keith. Next out we have the self-proclaimed legend Wim Vamsteke from the Netherlands for 127.5 kilos. Been competing for 37 years. Familiar face wherever powerlifting is done. Oh, that's a bit of a tough one though. It's certainly a successful lift, but I wonder how much more he's got in the tank. I wouldn't expect him to go up much more than 2.5 or 5. Yeah, I would say 2.5. Kai Mattila, Finland, 130. Slow and steady. Another good lift there for Kai. And we have Tim Nadeau from Canada out next. He's going to take 140 for his second attempt. That's 309 pounds. Oh, it stuck a little way there, but he kept pressing. He stayed patient with it, kept pushing, and it went all the way to the top in the end. Jens Winter now. Got up 7.5. He's sitting in third place in bench and third place overall, but he is only a couple of kilos ahead of Kai Matila. So, going to want to squeeze all the kilos he can out of bench. This is 147.5. Now the bar certainly stalled there. I don't think it dipped, and it didn't. That is a good lift for Jens Winter. And now we have Mark Notskala from Luxembourg for 160. The bench rankings in the 120 kilo class reflect the overall rankings, with Robertson leading from Notskala from Winter, with Matila only just behind. Nice second attempt there for Mark. Here's Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico, for 162.5. £358. This will slide him up to silver medal position on bench. With Ronnie Anderson still to take his second attempt. Good lift there for Robert. And he moves up to silver medal position in bench as well as overall. But here's Ronnie Anderson looking to reverse that. So this will put Ronnie Anderson in the lead on bench, ahead of Shokal taking his second. So here's Ronnie with 170. Now there's a fair amount of leg drive there to get the bar up, so yeah, I wondered if his butt might have come up. So if we get a side view replay for that. Yep, his butt came right off the bench. So you have to keep your feet flat on the floor and your butt, shoulders and head in contact with the bench. So you often find that, say, 2-1, because the centre referee can't really see that, so that's generally picked up by the side refs. But here is the leader in the super heavyweight class, Yaroslav Shokal, for 177.5. Nice second there for Shokal. So this is a big lift. This is Scott Robertson from Canada. 210 kilos on the bar. That's 463 pounds. And this puts him only 5 kilos away from the world record. So interested to see how this moves. Yes. Now, it's really hard to say at this stage in the competition whether he's got another 5.5 kilos in. But I've got to admit, I'll be disappointed if I don't see 215.5 go on the bar for his third. At least that weight. As we move into the third round of bench, let's take a quick look at the standings. And it's always worth going to goodlift.info to follow the live score sheet. Powerlifting is a numbers game, and you need those numbers to be able to make sense of the competition. So in the 120 kilo class, Robertson is leading from Notscala from Winter, and in the super heavyweight, Shokal from Fuller from Nado. Now here's Stephen Campbell from Canada for his third bench of 102.5. 226 pounds. Yeah, his right arm was there, but his left arm did not want to join the party. So that's no lift for Stephen. Leaves you with the best bench of 97.5. So here's a Keith Carlasio, USA, for 122.5. Take the 10 kilo jump to his third. Let's hope that isn't ambitious. This will represent a 5 kilo personal best. And it was slow, but he kept working it and it went to lockout. That is a good lift for Keith Carlasio. Kai Matila next from Finland. He's looking for 132.5. He won't get on the bench podium with this, but he's looking to close the gap to Winter. And he's taken 2.5 kilos out of it there. Good lift for Matila. Back to the supers, and here's Tim Nadeau for 142.5. No, not quite there today. He didn't leave anything behind though. He leaves him in the best of 140. We have Jens Winter out next from Denmark for 150. No, unfortunately it dipped. So that is no lift, but again he got everything he was capable of on the day. And that does get him the bench press bronze. Next up, Mark Notskala for 165. He is guaranteed the bench silver now, whether or not he gets this lift, and he's sitting in second place overall. He looked to get that a little bit offline at the bottom there. Leaves him with the best bench of 160 and the silver medal. Okay, here's Robert Fuller. He's scrapping with Ronnie Anderson for the medals on bench here. He's got the silver medal position already. First place is a little bit out of reach, but he is under pressure from Ronnie Anderson, who is trying to come past. But here's Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico, for 167.5. £370. Taking a lot of time to set up. He seems a bit nervous of the weight. I think he was quite loose at the bottom there. The bar bounced about on his chest. 167.5 wasn't quite there, so it leaves him with the best of 162.5. He still has the silver medal right now. However, Ronnie Anderson, who is coming out next for 170, is going to try to take that away. He's had one go at this weight already. Oh, that's a real shame. It's difficult to tell from this angle, but it seemed to me that the bar dipped. Yeah. So, Anderson keeps the bronze and Fuller the silver on bench. And you watch it, yeah, it went up and down. The bar cannot go up and down while it's on its ascent. And here's Yaroslav Shokal, who is having a great day today, looking for 185 for his third bench. He's already got the gold to go with his squat gold. This is 185 kilos. And that is a good lift for Shokal. Now, I was asking for 215.5 to go on the bar for this one, but he's done me one better and gone for 217.5. You know, he could have chipped it, he could have just put half a kilo on it. So, in an attempt to take the bench press M2 120 kilo class world record, here is Scott Robertson. This is 480 pounds. Oh, well, look at that. I was wondering if he'd regret not chipping the record, but he's absolutely smashed it. 2-1, that's a new world record for Scott Robertson. Now we're going to take a 10-minute break, and I hope you'll join us back for deadlift. We are back with deadlift at the IPF World Classic and Equipped Masters Powerlifting Championships. We are live from St. John's, Newfoundland in Canada. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, our presenting partners, Eleco and SPD, for all the support they give, not only to these competitions, but to the sport of powerlifting overall. So, this is the final weight classes in the M2 Classic Men. These are age 50 to 59. So in the first flight we have all 105 kilo men. And this is Takeshi Yoshimatsu opening with 190 kilos. That was a good lift. Kai Vesenius now for 220. That'll look nice and easy for Kai. And we have Nicolas Uriosti. Opening his deadlift with 225 kilos. Had a bit of a nightmare on squat, but he took the silver medal on bench. He's sitting in 5th place as we move into deadlifts. Now he seemed to roll that away from him a little bit as he started to pull, but it was still very easy. This is Eric Demoulin, France for 225. It wasn't super quick, but it was certainly a good lift. And next out we have Henrik Smedmark for 235. Nice and easy for Henrik. Even though the graphic on your screen at the minute is talking about the rankings, we're not going to look at those until we are through the first round of deadlift. Because we have a rising bar system, each lift is bigger than the one before, so every ranking will say 2-1. Christos Gunrad, South Africa now for 240. And that looked comfortable. And now we have Garmes Parks from US Virgin Islands for 255. Bronze medalist on deadlift. He's a contender for the overall podium. That's a little bit slow. But that was a good lift, and Garmes is on the board. Frode Rui, Norway, now for 275. He didn't have the best time on bench, but he did take the gold in squat. And he's projected for overall first. But let's see how this deadlift moves. 275 on the bar. It moves reasonably well. And the last of the openers, here's Abdul Seyduvi, Sweden, with 285. And that's a tough looking opener. Nevertheless, it's a good one, and that puts him in the lead in the deadlift and second place overall. So in the deadlift battle we've got Seyduvi from Rui from Parks, but in the overall battle, which is the real competition, Rui is leading from Seyduvi from Parks. And they are, I would say, the top three are clear of the rest of the field. So the battle for podium places will be between those three. And we are now through to the second rounders. So here's Takeshi Yoshimatsu. He took the gold in bench, and he's having quite a good day. He's 7 for 7 just now, and he has 210 on the bar. Now I'm not certain about his lockout, so let's see what the referees think. Yeah, he did not have his knees locked. If we see that from a different angle on the replay, we might get a better view of that. Yeah, those knees are not locked. But he's capable of the weight, so I'm sure he'll come back and have another go at that. And we have Kai Visenius for 235. Good lift for Kai. Nico Uriosti from Uruguay, 235. He's sitting in 4th place just now. And here is Eric Demoulin, France, for 240. Taking a 15 kilo jump. He gets it all the way, but I wonder how much he's got left. Henrik Smedmark for 245. And that was a nice easy second pull. Christos Schoonrad, South Africa, is up next for 260. This will get him temporarily anyway onto the deadlift podium.
Mark is loaded. 260 kilos. Crystal Schoonrad, South Africa.
A little bit shaky through the middle section, but a good lift. So he has his toe on the deadlift podium just now. But here comes Garmes Parks to take that away. So I think Garmes is pretty much guaranteed the overall bronze. This will move him back into deadlift bronze as well. Slow and steady wins the race.
Good lift. We are lights apart. 290 on the bar now. Rui, Norway. Suzuki and Yoshimatsu, get ready.
Here's Frode Rui, Norway, for 290. Extends his lead in the overall competition and retakes the deadlift gold from Garmes. Abdul Seyduvi is out next for 300 though. Now Abdul's opener wasn't super easy. And this is an additional 15 kilos, but he is a deadlift specialist. And it's tough. He's a fighter and he's pulling through, but he's not going to be able to lock that out. He has not looked in his usual shape this competition. I wonder if the travelling has not suited him. He's not looked as strong as usual the entire competition. And this is the difficulty. It's not about what you're capable of on your best day, it's what you're capable of today. I know he'll be disappointed with that, but he gets another attempt at it. So this gives Garmes an opportunity now to move past Seyduvi in the overall competition. Parks is sitting at 650 and Seyduvi at 657. Now Parks has put in 270 for his third attempt, but if he feels like he's got it in him, he may just... Parks is heavier, he would have to do... he'd have to do 275, which might be ambitious. Anyway, we have Takeshi Yoshimatsu for 215. He's actually gone up, even though he missed his 210. Now he pulled it successfully, but he did not lock his knees, so hopefully he can correct that error. He's not locked, I don't think. See what the referees say? No. No, lift leaves him with the best of 190. 580 total and 8th place. So as we move into the sharp end of the competition in the M2 105s, Nico Uriosti from Uruguay is going to attempt 245.
Following 245 kilos, Muriose, Uruguay.
No, that's not quite there today. So that gives Nico a best deadlift of 235 and a 610 total. He's in 4th place overall, but that is not secure. Schoonrad from South Africa will be looking to sneak past. So there's Eric Dedmoulin from France, waiting to come out for 245. So not quite there today, so that's a best deadlift of 240 and a 602.5 kilo total for Eric. I think he's pretty safe in 7th place though. The bar is being cleaned between every lift in the 3rd round to give the lifters the best chance of holding on to it. So here's Henrik Smedmark for 255. And that's not going. So that was a best of 245 on deadlift for him and a 597.5 kilo total. 7th place. Now this is massive. This is a 30 kilo increase for Kai Vesenius. This will move him from deadlift rank 8 to 3. But this seems like a huge ask. His second attempt was 235. This is 265. Can he really overcome such a huge difference? No. This is the best of 235 and a 545 total. Christo Schoonrad now from South Africa. He is looking to take the deadlift bronze away from Games Parks with 270 kilos. Games has a chance to respond though. Not there unfortunately. So Christo finishes with a 260 deadlift and a 605 kilo total, 5th place. That guarantees Games 2 medals in deadlift and overall. So here we go for 270 kilos. 595 pounds. for Games Parks of USVI. He's got it moving, and he's finished it off. That's a great way to finish the competition for Games Parks.
300 kilos on the bar. And then to do in Sweden, Rui will
2 more lifts in this flight, and I'm delighted to say I can see a world record attempt coming up. First though, we have Abdul Sedouvi. He's going to retake the 300 kilos he missed on his second. He's guaranteed the silver. This will move. He's guaranteed the silver in total. I don't think he can catch from there, but this will move him up to deadlift gold, with Rui still to lift. And that is just not there today. He'll be very disappointed with that. It gives him a best deadlift of 285, 657.5 kilo total, and second place. So here we go. We have a world record attempt from Frode Rui from Norway, 313 kilos. This was set in Alby in 2020 at the European Classic Masters by Lawrence Hackley of Sweden. That was the last competition in the IPF before lockdown. So it stood a couple of years. So Rui took 275, then 290. He is the new world champion. No one can take that away. He's M2 105 kilo world champion. He has got the deadlift gold to go with his squat gold. Wouldn't it be great to take a world record back to Norway? He's asking for the support from the crowd, and he's getting it. The Norwegian team are on their feet. They want to take a deadlift world record back to Norway. Oh, wasn't quite there today, unfortunately. He'll have to make do with being world champion.
So we now go into the B group, first way on our 180 kilos ski class. USA. Over equipment will be Palacio, Campbell, Knoxcaler, Winter, Ansliger, Fuller, Anderson, Bello, Robertson, and Stoker.
So we go straight now into the second flight. Final lifts of the day. This is the 120 kilo class and the 120 plus kilo class. In the 120s, Scott Robertson was making an absolute mockery of the bench press world record, and Yaroslav Shokal did the same with the squat world record in the super heavyweights. So this is Carl Carlasio from USA for 180 kilos, 397 pounds for his opener. Kai Mattila is out next from Finland. He's opening his account with 215 kilos. Nice and easy for Kai. Here comes Stephen Campbell from Canada. He's in the super heavyweight and he's opening with 220. 485 pounds. Good lift for Stephen Campbell. And we have Mark Notskala out next for 240. Mark took the squat silver and the bench silver. We are seeing a dominant performance from Scott Robertson. So I don't think anyone can really catch him in any of the lifts. So Mark has been the second place man throughout. That was super easy for Mark. Next out we have Jens Winter from Denmark for 240. Also in the 120 kilo class. Bronze medal in bench. Comfortable opening attempt there. Next we have Wim Vamsteker from the Netherlands in the super heavyweight class for 240. That wasn't super easy, but he's on the board with it. He has a total. Doesn't look too happy as he leaves the platform. Next up we have Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico for 247.5. So the bronze medal on squat and the silver on bench. What can he do on deadlift? £546. Nice. Ronnie Anderson from Norway is out next. He's looking for 250 to open his deadlift. Nice. The difficult angle to see the lockout from. But yeah, the referees were happy with it, and that's all that matters. Yeah, from that angle it looked much better. And Tim Nadeau now from Canada for 250 for his opener. Squat silver medalist. Oh, easy. He returns that to the platform with some gusto. Scott Robertson now for 255. Took the squat gold, took the bench gold, took the bench world record. That looks fairly well placed to be in contention for the deadlift gold as well. But he's got his opening attempt in, and that's important because that secures his world record on bench. If he hadn't got a lift in, a deadlift in, he would have had to give that world record back. And here is Yaroslav Shokal, who is in exactly the same position, needs this deadlift to secure his squat world record. And security does. That is a good lift for Shokal. So as everyone has a deadlift on the board now, we'll take a quick look at the standings. In the 120 kilo class, Canada's Robertson is leading by quite some distance from not Scarlett, from Wintner. And I think those places look to be reasonably set now. And in the super heavyweight we have Shokal from Fuller from Nadeau. But Nadeau's under a little bit of pressure from Ronnie Anderson, so we'll see how this goes. This is Keith Carlasio. He's got up 12.5 kilos to 192. £424. Good lift for him. And I've just noticed that Scott Robertson has gone straight to the top of the best lifter table. We have a best lifter award, which goes on GL points in each class. The GL point formula is kind of like a power to weight ratio. It tries to compare the lifts across lifters of different body weights. And Scott Robertson is now well in the lead. Well, here's Kai Matila, staying patient with quite a difficult second attempt at 225. He's in 4th place in the 120s just now. You have to do a lot of work to make it up to 3rd place. I don't think that's within reach. This is Stephen Campbell of Canada for 230. £507. And that's a good lift. Next out, Jens Winter for 247.5. Quite a conservative jump for him. Maybe that with 2nd place out of reach, he's just defending now against the finish lifter. It's not just about what you can lift, you have to react to what's going on around you as well. A little bit uneven, but he got it all the way to the top. And that's a good lift for Jens Winter. Same weight on the bar for Wim van Steeken, Netherlands. in the supers. Supers being the super heavyweight class, 120 plus. That's a tough one. I think he is on his limit. Good lift for him. And next out we have Mark Notzkaler from Luxembourg. He's taken a 15 kilo increase to 255. So I think he's trying to challenge Robertson for the deadlift medals. Robertson has been in a league of his own up to now, but Notzkaler is matching him on deadlift. Oh, that's a real shame. His grip let him down just as he got to the top. He looks at his hand in an accusatory way. Can't believe it let him down when he put all that work in. And he was hook grip as well. And it just went from his grip. He gets another try at that. But in the meantime, we have Tim Nadeau from Canada for 257.5. 568 pounds. Yeah, nice. That's a good looking second attempt. Next out, Ronnie Anderson from Norway for 260. He's battling with Tim Nadeau of Canada for the deadlift medals. And possibly even for the overall bronze. We'll see how this goes. I want to be ascribing him a third attempt before he's pulled his second. That looked decent though. Takes him up to deadlift silver for now. However, Robert Fuller of Puerto Rico has taken a 20 kilo jump from his opener all the way up to 267.5. 590 pounds for those of you who speak Imperial. And this will put him temporarily at least in deadlift gold. Sitting in second overall. But that's not secure, so he's going to have to keep putting kilos on the table. And it's tough, but he gets it all the way. That's going to make him difficult to catch now. I think realistically he has cemented his second place position there. Now here's Scott Robertson. Came under some pressure from Notzkaler, but when his grip let him down, this gives him some clear space in the deadlift medals. We know he's won the overall. He's so far ahead. 270 kilos on the bar. 595 pounds. Easy. I wonder what he could do if he actually tried. Yaroslav Shokal next. He's gone all the way up to 287.5. And again, Shokal is so far out in the lead. We know he's assured of being the world champion. Not for the first time, I'm sure. And it's not easy, but he gets it there. And moves back into deadlift gold as well. Okay, here we go. This is the pointy end of the competition. This is where we crown our world champions. 2 world champions in this flight to crown, and we already know who they are. In the 120 kilo class, Robertson is a long way ahead of the rest of the field. And in fact, in the 120s, all the podium places are pretty much guaranteed. Robertson in first, Notscala in second, and Winter in third. If we look down now to the super heavyweight class, we've got Shokal a long way ahead. Fuller under a little bit of pressure from Nadeau. And then Nadeau is definitely not securing his place. He's going to have to be looking over his shoulder for Ronnie Anderson. But here we go. We have Keith Carlasio on the platform just now for 205 kilos. 452 pounds. It's a grinder. Look at that, some real determination on display. Rewarded with 3 white lights. That gives him a 495 kilo total and 5th place. Kai Mattila now. $230 kilos on the bar. Oh, it kept moving. I thought that had ground to a halt, but he somehow kept the bar moving. Took it all the way to the top. I got 3 white lights. That's a 572.5 kilo total. And 4th place for Kai Mattila. Next out, Stephen Campbell of Canada. Competition slows down a little bit at this point because the bar is clean between each attempt. 242.5 kilos. 535 pounds. I've just noticed that the legend, the self-proclaimed legend that is Wim Bamstein, is not coming out for his last. So we've seen the last of him in this competition. But I'm sure we'll see him at the next one. So here's Stephen Campbell. 242.5 on the bar. No. Not today. It leaves him with the best of 527.5 and 6th place. Mark Notscala next from Luxembourg for 255. Now he pulled this successfully last time, but his grip let him down right at the top. Oh, it's a shame. He's done the work. So hopefully he will nail that hook grip on tight as he can. He's chalked up as much as he can. Let's see if he can keep hold of it this time out. Oh, that's a real shame. Nevertheless, he takes the deadlift bronze and the overall silver. Jens Winter now for 255. This won't change any positions. He has the deadlift silver and the overall bronze. Here comes Jens. It's a tough one. Not there today. Gives him a 597.5 kilo total and the overall bronze. Right then, here we go. The next man out is Ronnie Anderson. He is trying to push Tim Nadeau off the overall podium. £270 kilos on the bar, 595 pounds. This will move him up to provisional silver in deadlift and bronze overall, with Nadeau still having the opportunity to respond. Nice. And he's done it. Ronnie Anderson has done his job. It's everyone else's job now to try to get past. And straight away we have Tim Nadeau attempting to do exactly that. Tim is considerably heavier than Ronnie. Ronnie's a 120 lifter really. He's weighed in the supers today at 121.46. So he's an imposter in the supers really. So Tim Nadeau has to pull more. If two lifters pull the same weight, then the lighter body weight takes the advantage. And currently we have Ronnie Anderson and Tim Nadeau on the same total. Unfortunately, Tim can't drop down to just move up 2.5 kilos because he cannot drop the weight on the bar. He has to take the same weight or more. In fact, he couldn't even take the same weight because he has the higher lot number, and you cannot make a change that interferes with the running order. But here he is for 272.5. Oh, what a shame. That means he has finished off the podium both for deadlift and for total. He did take the silver medal in the squat though, so he's not going home empty-handed. But that's a great result for Ronnie Anderson, visiting the super heavyweight class and scooping the bronze in the bench press, the silver in the deadlift, and the overall bronze. Next out is Scott Robertson of Canada for 277.5.
Also, 277.5 kilos, Scott Robertson, Canada.
612 pounds. Oh, it was a difficult lockout. Let's see what the referees make of it. Yeah. If we watch that back now, the blue card failure is for supporting. Oh, his knee slid under the bar and maybe the bar dipped as well. So Scott Robertson is going to have to be happy with being world champion and taking the bench press world record. Gives him an 807.5 kilo total. Two more pulls left. Robert Fuller, Puerto Rico, now for the same weight, 277.5. This, he's guaranteed the overall silver. This will move his deadlift bronze up to a shiny silver medal. Using up all his platform time there. He only needs to start the pull in that time. And there we go, nods at the top. He is happy with his day. And who wouldn't be? He took the squat bronze, the bench silver, and he's just moved up to the deadlift silver as well as the overall silver. That's a great day out by anyone's standards. One lift remains. The super heavyweight M2 world champion Yaroslav Shokal from Czechia fancies a punt at 315 kilos. That's just under 700 pounds. Here we go. Last lift of the day. Oh, and his grip went just at the top. But he's had a phenomenal day as a chest full of gold medals and a world record, and he walks away the world champion. That's been an absolutely phenomenal session here today. That concludes the M2 competition. Scott Robinson took the best lifter award. Tomorrow we move into the classic M1s, so we start at 9 AM with the M1 men, 59 kilo class, 66 kilo class and 74 kilo class. Please stick around for the medal ceremony and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the M1s.
gentlemen, it is time to present the medals. They will be presented by Powerlifting IPF President. 105 kilo masters to first. Squat bronze with 230 kilos goes to South Africa's Chris O'Sullivan. Squat silver with 237.5 kilos goes to Sweden's Abdel Segugi. And squat gold with 247.5 kilos goes to Norway's Frode Rui. Great job, boys. Well done. Thank you, gentlemen. And now to bench press. In bronze medal position with 157.5 kilos for US Virgin Islands, Garnet Parks. In silver medal position, also with 157.5 kilos for Uruguay, Nico Ulioste. Good job, Nico. And bench press gold with 165 kilos goes to Japan's Takeshi Yoshimatsu. Great job, guys. Thank you. And now to deadlift. Deadlift bronze. Thank you, gentlemen. Deadlift bronze with 270 kilos goes to US Virgin Islands, Garnet Parks. Deadlift silver with 285 kilos goes to Sweden's Abdel Segugi. And deadlift gold with 290 kilos goes to Norway's Frode Rui. Great job, guys. Thank you. And now to crown the world champion. The overall totals in bronze medal position with 655 kilos from the US Virgin Islands, Garnet Parks. Silver medal with 657.5 kilos goes to Sweden's Abdel Segugi. And your new 105 kilo Masters 2 world champion with 687.5 kilos goes to Norway's Frode Rui. Ladies and gentlemen, please be standing for the national anthem of Norway. Well done, guys. Great job. Thank you very much. And now the 120 kilo Masters 2 category, individual medals first, in bronze medal position on squat with 210 kilos from Finland, Kai Matala. Silver medal, 250 kilos, goes to Luxembourg's Mark Notscaler. And squat Great job, guys. Thank you.